EU conference, summit attached to intra-African trade?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين. First of all, I want to thank you for welcoming me, and I want to answer to your question as to what my take is. If it weren't very important, I wouldn't have gone. That's the most important thing, because there is no way we can eradicate poverty without intra-African trade. We cannot bring about economic integration without intra-African trade. And of course, when we want to look for Western or Northern markets of developed countries or Northern countries, who's going to take us seriously if we cannot trade amongst ourselves? And that is why, despite the fact that the African continent is the major source of raw materials, we are still the poorest, because we are dealing in a trading mechanism where we trade as individuals instead of as a bloc or as a continent, as a result of which we are the major producers of raw materials for the industrialized North, but we are the poorest of the poor. Why? Because you go to them as individuals, they fix a price they want, which means take it or leave it. Now, when the only commodity, African commodity, whose price is not fixed by the world market, is kola nut. Why? Because Westerners don't chew kola nut. But apart from kola nut, anything else, the price is fixed by the world market. Now, if you ask me, where's the World Bank, I can tell you the headquarters is in Washington, D.C. The IMF, I can tell you. But who knows where the world market is? Nobody knows. Who's the president of the World Bank? I know. Who is the president of the IMF? I know. Or the managing director of the IMF? I know. But who is even the CEO of the world market? Nobody knows. But this is such an invisible but powerful force that every year, despite Africa being the major, that produces, a continent that produces 98% of the raw material for the industrialized North, becomes poorer and poorer every year. I'll give you a typical example. If there is intra-African trade, we will be also a major consumer, because we are a major consumer for products that are produced elsewhere that are rejected for other parts of the world. They dump them in Africa. For example, we produce coffee beans and cocoa. Not so. And then import chocolate and coffee. Now you sell the raw coffee beans at maybe 50 cents per kilo, or let's say $1 per kilo. And when it is processed, all they do is just roast it, that's all. Roast it and pound it into powder, package it, and you buy 50 ounces of that for $3. 50 ounces. How many ounces? Or 50 grams of it. How many grams would be in a kilogram? Do you understand? So, in a kilogram, which is 1,000, how many, divided by 50, how many would you have? How many dollars would you have for that kilo of raw, for which you sold to the West for $1? Now, if we are to if we are to trade amongst ourselves, we will also be obliged. You cannot do trade, intra-African trade, without communication, infrastructure. For some of us to go to Ethiopia, you have to go to London, or Brussels, or Paris, in order to come back to Africa. So there is no African delegation that will travel commercial. In 90% of the African delegation that go commercial would have to go to Europe, the North, and come back to Africa. But if there is intra-African trade, we will think of building roads. Then we will not have problems trading amongst ourselves. We will not have border closures. We will think of being African. In that case also, we will consume what we produce directly. But the coffee that is produced in Ivory Coast, or Guinea, or anywhere else, is taken to Europe, processed. Half is processed for Africa. The other part is processed for them. Now, you will agree with me that the mango juice, that is the canned mango juice that you have here, sometimes you look at the tin, it tells you that it's made in the EU. You go to anywhere in Europe, you will not find that type of mango juice or orange juice. And come June, July, August, mangoes will be rotting on the mango trees in the Gambia. Isn't it ironic that in those days, our ancestors, or not even ancestors for that matter, our great-grandfathers and grandfathers, when they want mango juice, they go to the mango tree, cut it, and eat 100% pure mango juice. But today, you leave the mangoes rotting on the mango tree, because if you wash it and turn it into mango juice, and I give it a badger and say, ah, boy, you have nothing to give me but this mango that you pluck from your mango tree. He wants one made in Holland. They also condition our psychology. And that is why, despite numerous health facilities, hospitals, doctors, life expectancy is very low. Because if an engine is made for Europe, before it is sent to Africa, it has to be tropicalized. Not so? Why? Because it's coming to a different, it will still be a petrol engine vehicle, but it's meant for Europe, a cold climate. So now, if we as Africans in the tropics, very hot and humid, want to live like Europeans in Europe, which is very cool, then we have a problem. Now you understand why children are born with strange diseases, despite the fact that Gambia is not an industrialized country. Asthmatic patients are on the increase. Obesity is more rampant now than maybe 20 years ago. Okay? What caused it? Either the way we live or what we eat. Now, how is it possible that 25 years ago, Gambian women have to take periactin to gain weight? Because people used to say, ah, kobonga or liali. Today, they have to take something to lose weight, to drink maybe tons of lime juice. Why? We live in the same Gambia. No industries have increased. There is no industrial pollution in this country. So what is the cause of obesity? But what should worry you is, what is causing so many critical lung diseases in babies? Serious deformities that you can find only either a place that was bombarded heavily during the war, or a place which has maybe nuclear power stations, or there is radioactive material. No, it's what we eat. Now, I don't want to embarrass anybody, but how many of you can cook Gambian food? If I invite you to a party and I give you benachin, what are you going to say? I'll not go to the State House again. So them a benachin lajo. But if I serve you chicken that have been frozen for the past 10 years and the bones are almost powdery, oh, you are from State House, we ate chicken. What is wrong with our local chicken? That's the point.
So your starting point is then decolonizing the African mindset. I believe should be the starting point.
You see, no ideology would free the African of the mindset, the colonial mindset. Now, if I were to tell somebody, yeah, this suit is cheap, it's ready-made, do you understand? We are not to believe that anything that is local, is inferior. That's why we call the Ministry of Local Government. Do you understand? So, as I said, if I give you baobab juice, like you go to Kairaba Hotel, it's very nice. But you ask a Gambian, Kairaba, they have not to give me baobab. But if it is canned or tinned, with only artificial Baba flavor.